Great to see you
Great to
again.
see you
Good to
too.
see.
Okay, thank you.
I'm so glad that you could make it here. I
Yes,
know
me
that
too.
it's a big time commitment. I'm so happy that you can make it.
Yes, me too. Thank you for seeing me. But yeah, here's the form from last week. I want to make sure I give that to you. I signed it. Just so.
Yeah, we'll just go over this a little in our assessment. But before that, so how was your weekend?
It was really good. The zoo homecoming, Ava loves it. So we went to the house decks, we went and did the flow, and then my parents came in. So it was really great just to be able to go to the game.
Oh, that's awesome.
That kind of thing. But
Yeah, I was actually at the game too, so maybe I saw you there.
Yeah, maybe we were around each other, but yeah.
So yeah, I know last time, we did talk a little bit about consent and mandated reporting stuff. And did you have any questions?
I think if you could just go over them a little, that would be great, just so as a refresher kind of thing.
No problem. So we have a confidentiality agreement, and that just means that what we say here stays between us.
Okay.
I cannot tell anyone for any reason, but I am a mandated reporter, so that just means I have the duty to notify authorities if I suspect child abuse or elder abuse. Mm-hmm. And then also, if I have the duty to warn and protect, which just means if you were to harm yourself or others, I do have that duty to tell authorities.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay, perfect. Did you have any other questions about this?
No, I think that's good. You covered it. Thank you.
So also, I will just be taking a few notes here, so if I just jot some things down so I keep it fresh in my mind.
Okay.
But I know last time we did talk about how you were having some financial problems, and also a few relationship problems with your ex-boyfriend who recently got incarcerated. Is that correct?
No, you're right, yes.
Okay, perfect. And I just wanted to ask a few questions today, but if anything sounds too intrusive, just let me know. I know some of these can be kind of like vulnerable questions that I'm asking, and just totally let me know. I completely understand. Many other clients that I have also had the same problem. They just didn't want to answer, so just let me know.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So how has your relationship been lately with your ex-boyfriend and your daughter?
It's been okay. So he is incarcerated, and so on the phone, he'll get to talk to her, but I haven't taken her to visit him yet, just because she doesn't really understand because she is so little, but she is not little enough that she doesn't know that something's going on because he's not around. And so, I don't know, it's just very uncomfortable, and I want him to still be in her life and have as much, in her life as possible, but it's just uncomfortable. And his family that all lives here, when Ava gets to see them, and then she's like, "Where's Dad at?" It's just uncomfortable. So there's definitely some strain, and I don't really know how to tell her what's happening.
Yeah, I can't imagine how you must be feeling. You're just so overwhelmed and stressed with all that. So I know we did talk about that. But where would you like to start involving your relationships or maybe your financial problems?
I think maybe financial problems, just because currently, that's what's most scaring me.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Would you say maybe your ex-boyfriend has contributed to your financial problems?
Yeah, 100%. Just because he was always the one that I didn't require him to do child support or anything like that, but I guess his child support was kind of he just paid for Eva's daycare, and so now that he's gone, I'm having to take that over.
I see, okay. So how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say you are financially stable monthly and weekly? 1 would be I'm not stable at all, and 10 would be I'm pretty stable.
I think it depends at the beginning of the month. Definitely 1, I'm stable, I'm fine. But then, as the month progresses, so I pay for daycare each week. I pay the week on Friday when I see her, and so it's just going towards the end of the month. On the 3rd week or 4th week of the month, then I'm freaking out because I'm okay, I don't have the $300 to $600 to pay, like, for the end of the month. But then once the month starts back over, like, it's fine. But just dipping into my savings is kind of what's scaring me, because once it runs out, like, what am I going to do?
Okay, I can see how that could be really stressful and just like scary. Yeah. And you also said like it happens more towards the end of the month when you are struggling more.
Yes.
How would you say that happens like every month?
Yeah, it's definitely been the past couple of months that he's been incarcerated that has been happening. So.
Okay, so it did start when he got incarcerated.
Yes.
And how would you say this has had an effect on your daughter?
She doesn't know at all. I mean, she loves daycare, loves her friends, the teachers there are amazing, but she doesn't know any difference because it's not something that she can understand. And she still gets food, she still gets everything that's like in our normal, like the norms that are happening in the month. It's just me internally being a little worried, like paying for childcare, the last 2 weekends or the weeks of the month.
Okay. Would you say that childcare is maybe one of your more things that has been more financially straining on you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So if you were to be get offered child support that is like free, would you say that would help you financially?
I think definitely. I'm just like worried because I don't want to move her necessarily, because she's gone to this ever since she can remember, like the friends, like the other parents, like just I don't want to move her, but I think that's something I would consider if eventually my savings are going to run out, and I don't want to dive into that.
I see. Yeah, you don't really want to be the bad guy and take your daughter away from all her friends, but you do still need to be able to have more money available to you throughout the month.
Yeah.
So if you would consider, at Hope Garden, we do offer some child care that is free for parents. So when you are here, let's say, or maybe you need to go work, you can just leave your child in this facility, and we'll take care of them for you, and you won't have to pay anything for it.
That would be something I would be very interested in. Just like maybe checking out first to see like how she would fit and that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. You can just do like a trial one.
Yeah.
So I know we also talked about your family. You talked about how they were a good support for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little more about what that support looks like?
Yeah. So my family, my mom and dad and aunts and uncles and grandparents, they don't live here. They live a couple hours away, but they are very supportive from afar. Whenever they are in town, or like when I go home to see them on the weekends, like very supportive, constantly like, oh, here, we bought her diapers, or we bought her this, or sending me like things for her, which is amazing. And then my actually younger sister, she goes to Mizzou, and so she's here always around, like wants to see Ava, and picks her up sometimes from daycare, like that, like she's always here too. So very supportive. It just seems that like I'm not closer to like my mom and dad or grandparents or that kind of thing.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's weird that you can have such a close bond with people, especially your sister. Like, I know how difficult it can be with your job to be able to always pick her up on time, and so just having that support is great.
Yes.
Would you say that you have? I know there's your sister. Do you have any maybe close friends that are also able to support you that live here?
Yeah, I have a lot of really close friends that are also teachers, and so it's kind of like they're working the same time I am, like we're at schools together, but yeah, they're a really great support system too.
Awesome. And also, I know you talked a little bit about your father. Can you tell me maybe your relationship with him and how maybe that's affected you and how you grew up?
I think just because I was in high school, so I was old enough to understand things, it was really difficult because it's how I feel like he didn't just cheat on my mom, he cheated on our whole family kind of thing. And so it's definitely strained, but my mom has forgiven him, and my younger sisters have forgiven him, but it's just hard for me to understand that, especially having a child of my own now. It's like, how could you do that to, not only my mom, but also like your kids, just like seeing her. And so it's definitely strange, but I think it's like moving in like a better direction than it was.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I can imagine how like you were feeling, just like the hurt, the betrayal, but also you still love him.
Of course. Yeah, he's my dad, and he still does everything and loves Ava and is a great grandfather. It's just hard for me, I think, sometimes to like let him back in and that kind of thing. So,
would you say he was able, like as a child, was he able to provide for your family?
Oh yeah, 100%, like everything.
Okay, so like he didn't really have an impact on how maybe you're living now and just like financially.
I mean, financially, like my parents, I went to private school all growing up, and then they paid for my whole entire college, and like, that whole, like, I didn't have to worry about anything, and so I don't have any student debt, nothing like that, and so they were just always to provide, and then now it's like, I don't want to ask, like, they've done so much for me that I'm not going to be like, oh, like, I can't really, him being incarcerated, like, I'm struggling with child care, like, I have savings, but it's like, I don't want to ask him for that, even though they'd be so willing to do anything for her. And it's like, I don't live close enough for them to, like, care for her themselves.
Yeah, it totally makes sense how you don't want to, like, be that extra burden. Just feel like, oh, they've given me so much already. Yeah, it's totally normal to feel that way. I know I've done that too to my parents. I'm like, oh, I can't be more, like, after college and all
yes,
that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So at our next meeting, we're about to wrap up.
Okay.
About 5 minutes, but I know today we talked about how you would like to focus more on your financial situation, and then maybe we can get you enrolled in some classes, or maybe even some support groups if you'd be interested.
Yeah, no, that would be great.
Because we do offer a support group for mothers who are just struggling a little bit, maybe financially, and then or just in the home situation, and then also some family counseling. So I think if you'd be interested in that, we could definitely get you set up for that.
No, that would be great.
Awesome. And then later we'll work on some goal settings at our next meeting.
Okay.
Just to maybe prioritize and then implement those plans for you so that we can get you on track.
Okay. Yeah, no, that sounds great.
Do you have any other further questions?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, awesome. If you are okay, I can walk you out.
Yeah, sure.